Nice to meet you. I'm Khadil Chuptai and you're watching my YouTube channel School of Advanced Chemistry. Today I'm going to discuss Cambridge O-Level Chemistry Paper 1 MCQs October-November 2022 1-1 variant part 2. Let's get started. I'm going to start from question number 21. A sample of sulfuric acid is added to 10 gram of zinc granules. A reaction occurs, a gas is produced. The rate of reaction is increased if a small amount of copper is added. The copper is unchanged after the reaction. Which statement about this reaction is correct? A, B, C and D options. First of all, just have a look once again on this statement. Rate of reaction is going to increase in the presence of small amount of copper, and copper is being unchanged at the end of a chemical reaction. So copper is acting as a catalyst. Which statement about this reaction is correct? Number 1, copper acts as biological catalyst in this reaction. No. It's not a biological catalyst. It's not an enzyme. So the first one option is wrong option. Copper lowers the energy of activation of this reaction. Yes, it is true. That is the basic function of a catalyst. However, let me check the option C. The rate of reaction is greater as the particle size of the zinc is greater. No. If the particle size is higher, then rate will be slower. So it's wrong. Particle size and rate are inversely proportional to each other. Rate and the particle size are inverse to each other. So it's wrong. The rate of reaction is greater if the pressure is increased. Pressure is applicable only for the gases. For gases only, again it's incorrect, and it is confirmed that B is correct option. Question number 22. The rate of reaction between magnesium and dilute hydrochloric acid is investigated. The equation is shown over here. Magnesium plus 2 mole of HCl goes to MgCl2 aqueous plus H2. A known mass of magnesium is added to excess of dilute hydrochloric acid. The concentration of hydrochloric acid and the volume of the hydrogen produced is measured at regular time intervals. Which pair of graphs correctly shows the experimental result? A, concentration of HCl versus time, and the second graph is showing volume of hydrogen versus time. And same is the parameters in B and C and D. Basically axes and their nominations are same in all cases. Every time is lying on x-axis, and once the volume is on y-axis, volume of the hydrogen, and in second graph there is always concentration of HCl, change in concentration of HCl on y-axis. So what should be the nature of curve or the shape of curve for these two type of curve? As you can see from this equation, this HCl is basically a reactant. It is a reactant. So its concentration will be decreased with the passage of time. Its graph will be like that. Concentration of HCl versus time, its curve, its graph should be like that. The second one thing is the volume of hydrogen. Volume of hydrogen, it should be H2 volume versus time. Its graph should be like that, as it is going to behave like a product. So concentration of product or the volume of product versus time is the graph of increasing pattern. Concentration of reactants versus time, the graph is like decreasing pattern. In this case, a known mass of magnesium is added into the excess dilute hydrochloric acid. So HCl is in excess. Its line should be above the x-axis. It must not going to touch with the x-axis. I mean, this line must be above at any stage, at any concentration, at any position, you can say. But this line, the ending point of this line must be above the x-axis. So this is the basic style of the graph of HCl versus time. This is the style of hydrogen versus time. So let me check which one option is the correct option. Once again, HCl versus time, a decreasing pattern curve should be there, and the volume of hydrogen versus time should be with the increasing pattern. Let's see over here. In this case, this is touching the x-axis, wrong. And in this case, this graph is not particularly not the shape of or appropriate shape of volume of product versus time. In C, basically you can see that volume of the hydrogen versus time, again it is incorrect. And in this case, yes, it's correct. It's concentration, decrease in concentration of HCl, and volume of the hydrogen with the time, yes, it is correct. So D is the correct option. Question number 23. In which reaction is the underlying substance reduced? Option A, here is the calcium underlined, and option B, copper 2 positive ion is underlined, and option C, just carbon of CO is underlined, and in option D, zinc is underlined. First of all, this first reaction is basically an acid-base reaction. As far as O-level syllabus is concerned, acid-base reactions are not redox reaction. Base reactions are not redox reaction. In next case, you can see that copper 2 positive ion, initially it is having +2 oxidation state. The charge on ion, on positive ion, is same as that of its oxidation state. I mean, its oxidation number is +2, and finally it is going to change into 0. So +2 to 0, I mean, the change is called reduction. It's called reduction. I mean, +2 to 0. Number is going to reduce. So yes, copper 2 positive ion is going to reduce in this case. So B is the correct option. B is the correct option. Question number 24. Which change involves reduction? Once again, calcium carbonate to calcium oxide. CaCO3 goes to CaO plus CO2. In this case, carbonate ion is having -2 oxidation state. Calcium is having +2 oxidation state as it belongs to group number 2. Again, it is having the same +2 oxidation state. Oxygen is -2 in this case. Carbon is showing +4 in this case. Oxygen is showing -4. And if I'm going to expand this CO3 -2, oxidation number is 2 3s are 6, -6. To make the sum equal to -2, so we will have to put +4 over here. So carbon before and after is same. Oxygen, one oxygen is equal to -2. One oxygen is equal to -2. One oxygen is equal to -2 over here. -2. Again, oxygen is also same. Calcium is also same. So there is no change in oxidation state in this case. I mean, in this decomposition reaction, there is no change in oxidation number. So it cannot be having reduction. Now come to the next one. Copper to brass, it's not a chemical change. It's not a chemical change. It's not a chemical change. So basically, there is no chance of any reduction. Ethene to polyethene, that is a polymerization, and similar atoms are again lying in the polymer. This is the monomer. Ethene, when it is changing itself into the polymer, again the carbon is attached with the similar type of atoms around it, and so there is no change in oxidation state of carbon or hydrogen. So again, it's incorrect. The last one is the correct option. The remaining option, SN to silicon, SiO2 goes to Si. Yes, there is a loss of oxygen and silicon is going to reduce. So D is the correct option. Question number 25. Thiosulfate ion S2O32 negative react with iodine in aqueous solution. 2 mole of thiosulfate ion react with iodine plus to make 2I negative ion aqueous, S4O6 2 negative aqueous. In this reaction, thiosulfate ion 1 electrons and R2, number 1, gain or lose electron. So first of all, I'm going to write its formula, S2O3 minus 6 for oxygen, and sum should be equal to minus 2 as per the charge is given over here. So I'm going to write plus 4 over here. For 1 sulfur, it must be equal to plus 2. What is the oxygen state of sulfur in S4O6? 1 oxygen is equal to minus 2, so minus 12 over here. Sum is equal to again 2 minus, and there must be plus 10. For 1, that should be equal to 2.5 plus 2.5. So oxidation number is going to increase. I mean, that is in this case, there is oxidation. And you know, oxidation is the loss of electrons. So number 1, loss as lose electron, it's going to lose electron, and this one is the basically that are oxidized, and it has been lost electrons, right? So oxidized, loss of electrons, C is the correct option. Question number 26. The equation shows a reaction in the contact process, this one, delta H is equal to minus 196 kilojoules per mole, which change would move the position of equilibrium towards left. This is the right hand side, this is the left hand side. Adding more oxygen, option A, adding more oxygen will shift the equilibrium towards right hand side. So first one is incorrect. I mean, if oxygen is added, then equilibrium will shift towards that side where there is less concentration. So first one is incorrect. Equilibrium will shift towards right hand side. Increasing pressure on the right hand side, 2 moles are over here. On the left hand side, 3 total moles are over here. So increasing the pressure, equilibrium will shift towards the right hand side. Again, it will not shift towards the left hand side, because on increasing the pressure, equilibrium shift towards that side where there are less number of moles. See, increasing the temperature, by increasing the temperature basically, this is exothermic reaction. So endothermic side is favored by increasing the temperature. Yes, by increasing the temperature, equilibrium will be shifted towards left hand side, So C is correct option. Question number 27. Some medicines contain magnesium salt of fatty acid. The fatty acids are member of homologous series of carboxylic acids. Contains only carboxylic acid group. What is carboxylic acid functional group? And how many moles of fatty acid react with 1 mole of magnesium? As you have seen that one carboxylic group, I mean each fatty acid is having 1 carboxylic group. So let's suppose I'm going to write a supposed formula of the fatty acid that is having 1 carboxylic group. If I'm supposed to react it with magnesium, it's going to react with magnesium and it's going to make RC double bond O negative, Mg will be 2 positive, and the formula of this ionic compound will be 2 over here, 1 over here. It will be RCOO twice Mg plus hydrogen will be formed. So, For the sake of balancing equation, we will have to put 2 over here. So 2 mole of fatty acid is required to react with 1 mole of magnesium to make 1 mole of hydrogen and the salt of magnesium. So carboxylic acid, which one group A, B, C or D? Which one is the carboxylic acid? This is the carboxylic acid. Carboxylic acid group can also be written as COOH or CO2H. So either A or B may be the correct option. How many mole of the fatty acid is required with respect to 1 mole of magnesium? So with respect to 1 mole of magnesium, 2 moles are required. So B is the correct option. Question number 28. Sodium sulfate and sodium hydrogen sulfate can both be prepared using aqueous sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. Here are 2 equations. One is with respect to 2 mole of sodium hydroxide with 1 mole of H2SO4 to make sodium sulfate and H2O. The second equation is the 1 mole of sodium hydroxide with 1 mole of sulfuric acid to make sodium bisulfate or sodium hydrogen sulfate plus water. 50 centimeter cube of 1 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide is used each time. So this data will give us the mole of sodium hydroxide. So the number of mole is equal to 50 multiplied by 1 divided by 1000, that is equal to 0.05 mole. Which row show the correct volume of 1 mole per dm cube sulfuric acid required to prepare the sample of sodium sulfate and sample of sodium hydrogen sulfate? Now, volume of sulfuric acid required every time with different reaction with different these 2 reactions. Number 1, you can see that in this case, in first case basically, in case of sodium sulfate, 2 mole of sodium hydroxide is equal to or it is required with 1 mole of sulfuric acid. 2:1. If we are using 0.05, then what will be the mole of H2SO4 that will be used? That will be equal to 0.05 divided by 2. And it's equal to 0.025. So volume, a mole of sulfuric acid is over here. Concentration is over here. So I'm going to find the volume using mole, using this concentration. C is equal to N into 1000 over V is the formula. Number of mole is equal to 0.025. And it's divided by the volume, and the concentration is 1 multiplied by 1000, and the volume is equal to 25. So either A or B could be the correct option. Come towards the next one. Once again, I'm going to check the ratio between the sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. 1:1. And mole of sodium hydroxide every time, that is 0.05. So the same mole of H2SO4 will be used. Now come toward the second concentration, and that is equal to 0.05 into 1000 divided by V. Concentration is equal to 1 and V is equal to 50. So A is correct option. A is the correct option. Question number 29. Which substance reacts with dilute sulfuric acid in the preparation of pure sample of lead to sulfate? Lead sulfate is insoluble salt, is insoluble compound salt. So we need 2 soluble compounds or 2 soluble solutions, the aqueous solution. One is sulfuric acid, other one must be the salt that is having lead 2 positive ion. So water soluble compound of lead, aqueous lead nitrate. Yes, aqueous lead nitrate. All nitrate are water soluble, so it's the correct option. It's the precipitation reaction. We need 2 reactant, those must be water soluble. One is sulfuric acid, the next one is lead nitrate. So A is the correct option. A is the correct option. Which statement about sulfuric acid is correct? In the manufacture of sulfuric acid, iron is used as catalyst in the contact process. Sulfuric acid is used in some batteries. Sulfuric acid is used as a fertilizer. Sulfuric acid is used as food preservative. Basically, iron is not used in contact process. Yes, sulfuric acid is used in batteries. Sulfuric acid cannot used as directly as fertilizers. No, it can use to synthesize the fertilizer, and once again it cannot used as food preservative. So B is the correct option. Question number 31. Two statements are given. Statement 1, going down the group 1 and group 7, the melting point of the element increases. Element increases. No, it's not correct for group 1. It is correct for group 7. Statement 2, chlorine can displace iodine from aqueous potassium iodide. Yes, because chlorine is above in the group as compared to the iodine, but cannot displace bromine. No, it can displace bromine as well, because it is also more active. It is also above in the group. It is above from the bromine in the group. So the second statement again the wrong one is the wrong. Which statements are correct? Both statement 1 and statement 2, no. Statement 1 only, no. Statement 2, no. Neither 1 nor 2, yes. Both statements are incorrect. Here there is incorrect point. Here group 1 melting point description is incorrect. So 31D is the correct option. Question number 32. A reversible reaction involves a solid reacting with hydrogen. A solid reacting with hydrogen. Which of the metal, aluminium or iron, would catalyze the reaction? What is their effect on the position of equilibrium? Basically, catalyst does not change the position of equilibrium. So either B or D may be the correct option. Now, which can act as a catalyst? So transition metals can act as catalyst, and aluminium is not transition metal. So iron only. D option, last option, D is the correct option. Iron is obtained in the blast furnace from ore hematite. Which statement is correct? Calcium carbonate is used to remove acidic impurities. Yes, basically calcium carbonate is heated to make calcium oxide and CO2. This calcium oxide is a basic, and it is going to react with silicon dioxide, that is an acidic impurity. It's an acidic impurity to make Ca, calcium silicate, CaSiO3. So yes, the first one option is the correct option. So there is no need to check the further options. Question number 34. Three statements about the carbon cycles are given. The carbon cycle regulates the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Yes, it is true. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is produced. During photosynthesis, carbon dioxide is used, basically, not the produced. So 2 is incorrect or wrong. Combustion of hydrocarbon requires oxygen. Yes. So 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Very much simple question, that is having the direct application of the knowledge. B. 1 and 3. B is the correct option. Question number 35. Carbon is used in the purification of water supply. And why carbon is used? What is the reason for this use? To remove mud and insoluble solids? No. Remove nitrates caused by the excessive use of fertilizer? No. Remove taste and odor? Yes. So C is the correct option. Basically, carbon is used to develop the taste and to remove the odors. Question number 36. Octane is an alkane with 8 carbon atoms per molecule. What is the molecular formula of octane? As it is alkane, so CnH2n plus 2. Here n is equal to 8, so C8H2, 8 are 16 plus 2, 18. So this is the chemical formula or molecular formula, you can say. And how does its boiling point compare with that of butane. What is the formula of butane? C4H10. As it is having less number of carbon atom, so its boiling point will be less. Its boiling point will be less. Its boiling point will be higher. Higher boiling point, and this is having less boiling point. So now come towards the formula, either C or D. Boiling point of octane is higher than butane, so D is the correct option. Question number 37. Which equation for the reaction between propane and chlorine is correct? Whenever an alkane like propane, C3H8, when it is allowed to react with chlorine, there is the formation of at least 1 mole of HCl, that is at least one haloalkane is formed. I mean C3, 1 less hydrogen 7, and 1 Cl is over here. I mean at least there is the possibility of formation of HCl every time. So let's see, let me check the nature of the product. Only one option is having HCl as a product. So let me check the equation. This should be the balanced equation. Yes, it is balanced. 3 carbon, 3 carbon, 8 hydrogen, 2 Cl, 2 Cl. D is the correct option. D is the correct option. Question number 38. Propanoic acid reacts with the calcium carbonate. The product of these reactions are calcium propanoate, carbon dioxide, and water. What is the equation for this reaction? Let me write the equation by myself. Propanoic acid, that is, C2H5COOH. It's going to react with calcium carbonate, goes to CO2 plus H2O. And now the salt will be formed from this portion of acid, except H, and between this portion, this is the negative ion, and here is the positive ion of the salt. So calcium, that is having 2 positive ion because it belongs to group number 2. C2H5CO or CO2, 1 negative, or negative 1, you can write it over here. So 1 over here, 2 over here, the salt will be CaC2H5CO2 or CO twice. So to balance this chemical equation, we will have to put 2 over here. 2 mole of this acid, 1 mole of calcium carbonate, 1 mole of CO2 will be formed, 1 mole of H2O, and 1 mole of salt. Yes, it's correct. 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. So let me check the options over here, A, B, C, and D. Which one is having the correct formula of the calcium salt? These 2 options are going to appear the correct one, but in this case, the carbon, total number of the carbon atom is equal to 4. So this is not the propanoate. This is not the propanoic acid. And in this case, 2 plus 1, 3. Yes, it is the negative ion of the propanoic acid. And yes, it is propanoic acid. 2 mole, 1 mole, 1 mole, 1 mole, 1 mole. Yes, B is the correct option. B is the correct option. Question number 39. The monomer CH3CH double bond CH3 can be used to make an addition polymer. This addition polymer has a chain of the carbon atom joined to each other by CC single bond. Each of these carbon atom is also bonded with at least one other atom or group of atoms. These are called side groups. This statement describes the carbon atoms in the polymer chain made from this monomer. Let me draw it first. Here this is the carbon double bond. Here is hydrogen. Here is CH3H. And when it's going to react with its similar molecule with own, you can say, our own type of molecules, and there is the formation of shifting of carbon double bond over here, and we are going to have this structure of polymer. and so on. So let me check. Every carbon atom in this chain has one CH3 and one hydrogen atom on side group. Yes, every carbon is having hydrogen, CH3, hydrogen, CH3, hydrogen, CH3, hydrogen, CH3. So A is the correct option. A is the correct option. The last one question is question number 40. Which row correctly describe the structure of a polymer and the monomer from which it is made? Monomers is, this is the amino acid, and its polymer should be protein or the polypeptide. It's not a polypeptide. Here once again, this is an alkene and propene imine, and there must be the polymer, that is an addition polymer, but this structure should be over here like that. I mean C single bond C, CH3 again, I mean CH, H, CH, H, H, CH, 3, H, and so on. But there is no any visibility of the CH3 group. So again, it's wrong. C option, one is dioic acid, other one is diamine. They will meet together to make an imide linkage. This is an ester linkage. It's not imide. Here is NH2. There is, there must be an imide linkage, and this is a unique linkage, nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon. This is not the, you can say, a pure ester linkage or not the imide. So again, it's incorrect. The last one option is the correct option. Obviously, dioic acid, diol, when OH from here and H from here, OH from here, H from here, so this carbon will meet with the oxygen. So D is the correct option. Thank you very much. That's all for this part 2. Please subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon, and share it with your friend. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.